Mark Asay's final moments.
He was full of spirit, forgiveness. He holds no animosity against anyone.
The killer's spiritual advisor sharing with News4Jax the issues he was still dealing with just hours before he was put to death. Mark Asay was the first inmate executed in Florida in 19 months.
His family and the families of his victims taking time to themselves tonight, but all did give us these following statements. We've been speaking with Asay's sister over the past month. You'll remember the photo on your screen right now, one of many she's taken while visiting her brother in prison. Gloria Dean says she did not watch her brother die and gave us this statement, quote, "I heard my brother was strong and proud. We have heard the heavens open at 6:13 p.m. to take my brother home. He's in the hands of his father," end quote.
Now, the son of one of his victims, Robert Booker, told us by phone tonight, quote, "I just want to thank everyone for their prayers and support. A new chapter begins. Thank you, God." Now, Booker's siblings told us this was a big burden that was lifted from our hearts, and our brother can finally rest in peace like he deserves. Channel 4's Eric Avanier is joining us live outside the Florida State Prison in Rayford. Eric, what do we know about what happened in that death chamber?
Well, Kent, we know that despite a new drug being added to the combination of drugs that put Asay to death, there were no complications. As time ticked closer to 6 p.m. with dark, gloomy skies over the Florida State Prison, condemned prisoner Mark Asay was on the verge of taking his last breath.
The sentence of the state of Florida versus Mark James Asay was carried out at 6:22 p.m. The execution took place without incident. Mr. Asay had no last statement.
Hours before Asay was executed for the 1987 killing of Robert Booker and Robert McDowell, he was allowed to spend 2 hours with his spiritual advisor, Norman Smith.
And for the 2 hours that we spoke, he spoke about, you know, the possibility if God decides not to let him go today, what he could do with what he has learned, you know, but he also was prepared either way.
I asked Smith about his conversation with Asay.
In his words, he said, you know, he believes, number one, should this go down today, he's going to a better place. And number two, you know, he still had some issues with what he says are things that were left undone.
Those issues included being labeled a racist after prosecutors said his actions were racially motivated.
He did use racial slur when he shot the person that he shot. He says, and the news media took that, and the court took that and made him into a racist.
Smith says he never saw Asay that way.
In the months now that I've been counseling with him, I have never, until I heard that, I would have never known that this man was tagged as a racist, no.
Now, just before 7 p.m., Asay's remains were driven away from the prison. Reporting live, Eric Avanier, Channel 4, the local station.
Such an interesting interview, Eric. Now, we know the protesters were also out there. What did they have to say tonight?
Well, yeah, there was a large group of protesters that arrived by tour bus, and they were all against the death penalty. But I can't tell you, they were also disappointed that the Supreme Court did not issue a stay of execution. I spoke to one gentleman who says that this whole thing would have been different if condemned inmates like Asay did not spend 30 years on death row before their execution was handed out.
All right, Eric Avanier reporting for us from Rayford tonight. Eric, thanks.
And as we mentioned a moment ago at the start of our newscast, people close to the Asay case just need some time to process what happened tonight. However, over the phone, his sister gave us some details about their last visit. She says as they sat there, her brother sang a song by Bradley Walker called Pray for God. And then he gave his sister his Bible of 21 years to remember him. We're told they had a long hug when it was time to go, and it was then that he told her he wouldn't have any final words today because, according to him, he said everything he needed to in his one-on-one interview with Tom Wills this week. At 4 o'clock, he received his last meal: fried pork chops, fried ham, French fries, vanilla swirl ice cream, and a can of Coke. We're told that he finished the fries and the ice cream, ate most of the ham, maybe 20% of the pork, and drank the entire can of soda. Now, hundreds of you have been reading this story on news4jax.com tonight. When you click on this story from our homepage, you're going to see links to Tom Will's extended interview with Mark Asay. Plus, you'll see a breakdown of the inmates currently on death row right now in Florida.